Hello and welcome to New Game Plus with Awkward GM Corbin, and I should be audio filing now or audio list hearing now. Where let's just get some bookkeeping stuff out of the way. If you were looking at the Monday meeting notes yesterday or last night or whenever they come out, you probably have seen that the next Kickstarter has been announced as Storypath Ultra, which is awesome. I'm excited. And then if timelines work out, this is just my opinion, but I think the next one after that will be Curseborn. Because it's usually like 1 month, uh, 1 month of a backer kit, and then goes to a Kickstarter. Other stuff we've got to announce is that sorry, we're going through a lot of stuff. We've got Exalted Exigence, story guy or storyteller screen. We've got the streaming overlays, the wallpaper, and some Redbubble shirts. Toss over some links in here just so that people can check that out if they're interested. I am really hoping for. Oh, Mythic Shards is still going on right now. So if I do MS backer kit, no, that didn't work. If I did, basically there is still the Kickstarter for Mythic Shards. Oh, I added a T and I shouldn't have put that. Um, it's got 4 days left. I put up a video covering that, and that's pretty much it. I think as far as the crazy stuff going on. Oh, there is OP Game Weekend, which will be the 30th of August as well, last Friday of August. Trying to think. Anything else? Nope. Yeah, I am good. I have covered all my bases. Now that all the bases belong to us, we can continue on with the program. We've got the at the gate stuff going on that I've been planning. We've got our little map here. Hopefully, I'm just double checking that you guys see that. Yeah, you can. Okay. This is a map that D gave to the people on the at the gates Discord channel on the Onyx Path Discord. You can get to that if I just type in Discord. I'm assuming most people here are on the Discord right now. I feel like it's the we usually get the big fans here on this second screen type show that I tend to put on here. Where last we left off, the players had just at least in my planning phase, because no plan survives the players. We've got the introduction part of the story. We've got the brass tankard, where the players are fighting some drunkards who happen to be part of the Stonefoot Mageocracy in Talpidium. And that sort of sets off this action where they go and take out the Mageocracy cell that these drunkards are a part of. And I made the head drunkard. You know what? I lean too heavily into mages who can use alcohol for powers, so I think that's something I've done. I apologize for that. Oh, we were doing the five. We were looking. They got their mission from the Queen at this stage, and they're going to be looking for the location of the 4 dragons, but they don't know that at this point. And I want to establish the goals. I want to establish the villains, and set up that they're going to be at the Outland ruins. They're going into the Outland, and then after that, they're going to pilgrimage to more locations outside of the Outlands. We have the Temple of Dragons, which is where they're going to grab the tablet or device that's going to point them, or the map that's going to point them to where the dragons are. We started with the 5-room structure that was popularized by Role Playing Tips, I believe. Johnny4 is the author, if you've never heard of that. Not sponsored or anything. Johnny 4 has a email list of GM tips that are fun to sign up for if you ever want to just have a little bit of GM advice just sent to your email and you can read. In case we had the trick and setback, and we had the puzzle room first, where you had to move the statues in the correct order based on the seasons and the gemstones corresponding to those seasons. We had the antechamber, where a demon has set a few undead soldiers to act as ambush. We have them as the Oseros warriors, which I believe are the undead warriors. They're sometimes in the Outlands. And we are going to have a Viombra, which is a demon who's I think a swordsman. And every time I try to switch windows, I lose my mouse, and it's bugging me. It is bugging me to hell in a handbasket? Yeah, I think hell in a handbasket is probably the correct term in that. In order to get it back, I have to hit Control-Alt-Delete. That's fine. Just bring up the PDF right now of the At the Gates manuscript. That's a fun thing about backing. I know a lot of people like the physical copies of books, but for me, I really like getting the manuscript copies of stuff. Manuscripts usually give a little bit of insight into how the world works in a sense and what the final product is going to be like. You can actually still run stuff from the manuscript. However, I would say that it's not always easy to navigate because you do get a lot of page X stuff. Page X being you cannot find the it will say references page, but instead of saying the page number, it says page X. It's good though. It can really help you. Where is the At the Gates manuscript? I have it on my compiled manuscript. There it is. Okay. You can usually run everything. I'm going to be running my own Curseborn stuff in a bit once I get that figured out. If you wish to put a hi in the chat, feel free. I love that we have 4 people watching right now. Feel free to be playing a video game in the background. I won't judge. I might judge if it's a particular video game, but that's because I am a nerd. I actually don't have a very high I'm not usually judgmental on people on their video games. I love old school, I love new school, I love indie. I'm even okay when people are playing stuff that some other people won't normally play. Like, if you really like Stardew Valley, I'm also a Stardew Valley fan. I like the cozy games, which is why I like At the Gates a bit, because I feel like there is a possibility of having a little bit of coziness in there, even if you are doing a world-saving adventure. So we have, I believe, the Viombra was the demons known as the Assassins of the Void. They're demons shaped by darkness, violence, and fear of things lurking in the shadows, and they're perfect for our little antagonists for this map area. So we're giving our players the map. We finished off that dungeon last session. We are going to do the Dragon of the Spring, which is going to be in the Ordonia area. From what I remember of Ordonia, it is essentially your basic generic fantasy plane. It is more of a rural area with farmland. It does have a kingdom. I want to split this up into 3 subchapters. The other areas have been like a little bit one note. This one is where we're going to get into a little bit more detail. So chapter heading for this is chapter header 3, and then we'll have subchapter 1, and then I want to have 3 just because I feel like 3 might be a good idea. Three is usually where I want the reward or downtime to be. This is so the players don't feel rushed to get to the next area. 2 is where we're going to have most of the conflict. And 1 is where we're going to establish the conflict and setting. Things that we know about Ordonia to start with. 1, they're dealing with an issue known as the Blight. This is probably the biggest issue that they have. The Blight is essentially where the woods and farmland are blighted. Possibly by, I want to call it Fantasy Canada, but I don't think they're called Fantasy Canada. They are called Capper Knights. I'm not sure if I'm going to go with that. I do like the idea that it has something to do with the Outlands and the demons causing the blight, but it's your typical plague, or not typical plague. It's your typical like drought situation where things are not growing. You're not having, a lot of their trade has become harder to do because of this. However, I do want to set up a small town. If I could do it, I could do the Ashcan storyline where there is a small town of the where they're having a festival, and that involves meeting up with a demon, but that also causes other stuff where the Capper Knights are invading. But that's something I almost forgot. The Capper Knights are invading. They're invading a particular area, which is known as the Cradle. It's like the Queen's area or something. I forget. Ordonia conflicts. Awaiting vote. Demon research is awaiting a vote by their Congress. They have a lot of fox and rabbit people. Capper Knights have something to do with... Oh, it's the Arable Crown affair. That's it. An area known as the Arable Crown is where the Capper Knights are going to invade Ordonia as part of this. The Capper Knight Arable the Arable Crown area is essentially like, I think it was the Capper Knights said, we will help you with one of your issues if you give us the Arable Crown. Ordonia said no because they think that the Capper Knights are are doing the Blight, and it was to heal the Blight. The Capperons approached the Ordonians to offer magical knowledge of healing it, but they wanted the crown, which is an area of Ordonia. And the Ordonians were suspicious of the Capperans, but the Capperan political situation means that they need to test Ordonia in that they will be able to protect that area from invasion, otherwise they don't deserve it to begin with. we should probably have a bit of a situation in which the Keperans. Now I'm getting Keperan stuck in my hand. Keperan. Um, no one remembers Pepperan. I'm the only one who does. But essentially, what we need to do is that Ordonia. Let's do the arable crown area as the and I'll probably spell it wrong, with a town or village. And I'll double check what this stuff says about the arable crown. Normally, Ardonia will rely on Talpidamine to protect it, but they have some other stuff going on. Despite their Ordonia has an abundance of out-of-work farmers who are looking to do any job they can to earn a living. This has caused them to take up arms and move north to defend the arable crown. Without leadership, these citizen soldiers are doomed to start something that no one in the nation is prepared to follow up on. Okay, so they're basically a militia that has no leadership. Excuse me. So there are a bunch of different ways that we can deal with this. We can make it so that essentially the players are going to have to deal with the Capernites invading. I think the Capernites do have demonic worship, not worship, demonic research. I look at my notes up here. Yeah, they have active research. They're probably going to throw some demons down there. So in this area, there's definitely going to be a demonic presence. Pepper Knight military are setting up gates. Then we also have a situation where there is a militia forming in a nearby settlement. I think we'll have the village be separate from the militia, but still supportive. And I do like the idea that they are currently in a harvest season. Our harvest festival is always. This way we can have stuff like races, arena fighting, things of that nature, stuff to like let the players have some downtime initially. They know that there's going to be a attack in this area, but they also know that there is a temple that is hidden nearby. Or at least not a temple. Let's not use temple. Let's say drag. There is a dragon nearby, but the dragon, we'll say, has been captured by the Capernite military, or at least is in some way like being blocked by the Capernite military. Players have an airship. Technically, they could go anywhere, but we'll say that the Capernite military does have some sort of artillery and anti-airship defenses. They might not be expecting an airship from Ordonia, but it is something that they might have. These people are some of the best of the best of the best of the best. They need to have something crazy going on. Case. Double checking some things. This is all going to culminate into an attack on the village. Trigger event. Village is attacked by a group of Pepper Knight saboteurs / scouts. I feel like there are some NPCs that we have for the Capper Knights that might be good to throw in there. I know they do have a really good leader who would be a really good one to throw in there. I don't want to throw the leader in there because it's like we have sort of like a Star Trek situation where it's like, why are we putting our best people in the front lines? So the All-Khan, who is the Capper Knights have cons, like Genghis Khan type situation where that lead their world, their country. We're not going to use him. All-Khan Tristan Beard is not going to be part of this. We have Khan Pinxius Prospero. She is widely considered one of the wisest and most powerful mages. Very approachable, freely sharing the wisdom. For years, she's fiercely protective of the Memoriam and says regularly that the truth is something vital to protect. We have Roll of Bray, who is the greatest moral fighter ever born in Capper Knight. His victories in defense of the grazing grounds and success of his raids are beyond counting. He's armored head to toe in custom plate forged in the Fallen Star Forge. Roloff is widely believed to be completely invincible in combat. His appearance at any testing is known to resolve any issues before it starts. He is a goat person of great mirth and brutal honesty. He doesn't want to be a All-Khan because he likes battle, beer, and body houses. Whisper Who Walks. Even in her usual human form, Whisper Who Walks appears almost as a phantom. Those who have known the emissary of Clan Mistwalk longest at the council say that she spent much of her time shrouded in fog of her homeland and barely exists in the mortal realm. She speaks in riddles, but almost always comes down heavily on the side of peace in any discussion. Okay. We're definitely going to use Bray as the antagonist of this. Make sure that we put his leader of the expedition. They should have some demons already, but so we have the initial attack of the soldiers, the saboteurs, and the scouts. We do have some stat blocks for some low-level characters, but these are soldiers. These are hardened warriors of the Capper Knights. They are not to be messed with, so we need something a little bit more. Tough. We'll also put a stat block in for the demon when we get the demon out. I like giving them a demon just because I feel as though they are more likely to have a demon than some of the other armies that we'll face. I say army. The players can defeat this group without too much bloodshed, I think. I'll always give my players the option to capture instead of kill. Ooh, there are rules for grunts. When there are multiple grunts in a scene, they function together as a unit. Instead of each grunt taking different actions, they act together. Grunts shouldn't act in groups higher than 4. Each additional grunt above the first adds +1 enhancement to the actions, and every 2 additional grunts adds +1 to a secondary action. Each time the group takes damage, it takes one grunt out of the equation. So let's put a little chart here down below. Actually, let's double this up. So we have the Capper Knight Scouts, who are going to be our grunts, let's say, and we're going to have a Capper Knight Mage as a person who summoned the demon. I hope I'm not losing y'all. This is complex mathemagizing. Any case, so we have the grunts. So we have +1. We're going to have a group of 4 grunts, which means that we're going to have a +4 enhancement. If I do just +4, I think I can know that as an enhancement, and then this would be a +2. Apologies, I'm always bad at this stuff. Formatting is not my strong suit. And we should actually put, I think we have we have some columns here. Unmerge cells. Okay, so if we merge these 2 cells together, I want to merge the cells. Merge! And we will say grunts 5. This is a 4 additional grunts. This is a full grunt squad. The brute squad, as it were. We do want a Capper Knight Mage in here. These are going to be our basic enemies. We don't want them to be too crazy. However, we are going to give the Mage the elite status. They're going to have a primary pool of 10, secondary of 8, desperation pool of 5, and an enhancement of, I think it's 3. Is it 3? 3. And I can actually add up their defense and integrity. I'm just going to up their integrity to 2 because their mage and defense is going to keep it as 1. Injury level 7 to 9. Let's put them at 7 because they're not going to be that crazy as far as things go. Their armor can be 0 to 3. I'll leave the armor at 1 because if I leave the armor at 0, they might become a glass. They might just fall to whoever attacks. I'm going to leave them with a 5 initiative. And then they actually do have a stat called Soul that I probably haven't put into any other thing yet. So we'll add Soul down here. Soul is basically your is essentially your magic stat, or I think it's how much like mana or something you have access to. I can go into that. I do really like how magic works in this system because everyone has access to it in some way, so it seems more about the person that's using it. Oh, it's energy that soul gives you, not mana. So at echelon or soul 3, you get 12 energy that you can use. Okay. There are stats, I think, for mage antagonists. It might just, I'm not sure exactly where it will be. In the Creatures of Gaia section, you have the People of Everend, and we have mages and summoners. Oh, mages and summoners. Okay, we do have the elite stat for mages. So they do have specialties. Their primary specialty is going to be demonic summoning, magic, knowledge, research, willpower. They get +1s to daemon summoning and +1 magic. I was right about their defense and their armor being 1 or 2. I get to give them qualities though. So I'm going to insert 3 rows below. This is for my table knowledge. It is always difficult to keep track of abilities, at least for me, for NPC characters, because when you have when you're playing as a player, you only have to worry about one character you need to have knowledge of. But for a GM, you might have like 10 things that you have to remember about various different types of characters. So it's just easier for me as a GM to have these quick reference tables that I have set up. And if I do insert another row above, yeah, okay, good. So what do mages get? Well, they get some qualities. So we have attentive, magical weapons, and willful. So and these are your qualities. Something that it's something I learned today, just being on the Onyx Path Discord. Some of the developers do stick around and listen to feedback on when you're talking about abilities, and I was making some quick reference sheets for my own players whenever I get a chance of playing Curseborn or At the Gates again. And I noticed that some of the abilities for some of the tricks that you can use in combat were not exactly so one of them didn't seem that useful, and they were able to say, yes, knocking someone down and them not having a negative to hit someone in melee when they're knocked down is something that they'll be looking into. And I feel like that's a great way of getting feedback from the player base. Not many people do look at these games before they come out, so some stuff can get lost in the shuffle. I just really enjoy playing these games before they come out, fully, because I get to kick the tires a little bit. I am a quality assurance person by day, so I do have a lot of fun of play testing. I've done playtesting in the past for other games, not by Onyx Path. You can find my name in a couple of books, but not a lot anymore. I did war games. In any case, I did learn from that interaction with Dee and Matthew Dawkins that they are updating the StoryPath Ultra rules as they're going along, and because they have so many, they only have a handful of StoryPath Ultra books that are currently in the docket that they can really if they find an issue with one of them, they can apply the fix to the other games if necessary, which is just a good thing to do. So I see we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this is where I'm getting a little bit. This is just me, and I know it's just me because a lot of people do this a lot of people deal with having a lot of abilities, but going into the magic here, we have barrier, immune. I think lightning was the next one. Energy, Fate. Fire, lightning, magical resistance, time. For one character, this is pretty, like, this is a boss level character, I think, that I just put in here. If it becomes too difficult to deal with, I might have to make changes, but for the moment, this is what I'll be putting on my players. Let's look at the qualities a little bit here. We didn't really go into them before, and just so I'm not like just copy and pasting stuff, I will like make adjustments and stuff. So it says here we have push 3. I'm gonna try and find push. Push. Protagonist launches their opponent away through sheer force. The attacker is moved to range bands. Sweet. I like keeping it simple. Oh, I need to do attentive first. Attentive is a quality. That what I just did was an art. Thanks to its multiple eyes or mystical means, the antagonist is extremely difficult to take by surprise. To avoid attention faces a major complication. It will alert the antagonist, even though they won't know where the characters are, but they will investigate the general area. And then it adds a difficulty. So what I'll say here, major complication to avoid raising the alarm, but not difficulty to spell. Fairly basic. This magical weapon is medium range. I know that from the stat block. Hope people are having a good night tonight, or day, or what have you. So, is it a magical weapon or is it a magical focus? Magical weapon. Okay, magical weapon is different than magical focus. Whether through sorcery or their innate gifts, antagonist weapons brim with power. Each time this quality is chosen, pick a tag between a bunch of different things. I'm just going to copy and paste this into here for the moment. Just because I don't know which one of these is going to be the best for the weapon to be thematic. And I forget how much I actually gave to the character. Okay, so it's only one quality that the soldier is going to have. Their Capernite, which is ice themed. So I am actually going to just go with ice as their quality. And what I'll do here is I will create a little tiny section here to write down what that is. Ice, baby. Dun 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 dun, or something. You know what? I am not searching whole words, which means I am currently getting every single instance of the letter ICE, which is not great when there are things like nice or price or any of the other stuff I have to deal with. Okay, we get the freeze effect, or freeze stunt, or trick, rather, which causes the petrified status effect. And petrified does what? Characters exposed to the magical effects risks being turned into a solid block of ice or stone. For the duration, it lasts for a number of rounds to 1 plus any additional hits spent on the action to inflict the effect. For its duration, the character suffers a minor complication on all actions. If not bought off, their physical attributes are reduced by 1 until the end of the scene. Uh-oh. They become an inanimate statue if their stats reach 0. A character can attempt to overcome the effect by dedicating a simple action using Survival or Esoterica difficulty 2, or the time lapses. Restoring petrified characters to life requires Medicine or Esoterica action difficulty 3. Okay. That is a rough one. Petrified. Number of rounds equal to addition 1 plus additional hits spent. Target suffers minor complication on all actions if not bought off. Physical attributes reduced by 1 at 0. Turn to statue. And so is it at the end of the duration it stops? Okay, so there is a time lapse to it, and then there's a so it ends if this stuff happens. Oh, I'm doing this all in bold. I need to unbold it. Wasting all my space. If you don't know how much your GM prepares the sessions for you guys or for you all, like just give them a thank you. This stuff can be really difficult sometimes. We're tracking a lot of things. And let's see. Reverse statuing. Oh, I didn't want my bookmarks to show up. There we go. Okay, we got that done. Status effects and conditions can be really difficult to keep track of for GMs. That's why usually I like having the status effect in my character stat blocks for my quick referencing. Otherwise, it can be very difficult knowing what you need to do at the right time. Wolf's an easy one. +1 social advantage when resisting influence. Hard-headed goat people. Even though that's not actually a goat head thing. Okay, so we did push 3. Wait a minute. Oop. I opened something I shouldn't have opened in Adobe. Push. So it said push 3. I don't know if push 3 is actually a thing. Okay, so we have arts. Oh, okay. So for antagonists, they can use an art a number of times a scene equal to the number of times it is listed in their write-up. So, for instance, a spirit may use the hypnotize art up to 3 times. Each time a character must attempt to purchase the complication off counts as a use, regardless if they successfully buy it off. So when I go down a push, the attacker is moved 2 rage minutes away. This is probably a complication in some way. Maybe. In any case, we don't have to deal with that right now. We do have telekinesis, though. I'll write down the telekinesis thing. The antagonist can lift and move objects with the power of their mind. When picking up this art, select a maximum range between close and medium. The character can physically manipulate targets within that range, with the possibility to use mental dice pools instead of physical ones to exert their will. At story guide's discretion, the antagonist can use the telekinesis to roll a ranged attack action. If the attack connects, the antagonist inflicts no damage and can only establish a grapple trick with their hits. But the grapple continues until the creature has control. Cannot be used in the same round as any other art. Okay. It's sort of like a mind control thing, maybe. Physically manipulate targets within range. Okay. So close or medium. With mental dice. Antagonists don't have mental dice. They have primary, secondary, and desperation. So maybe it should say primary dice. Inflicts no damage and can establish grapple. At range. Grapple is a status effect, if I recall correctly. Yeah. But we also have Summon Demons as an ability, so I'm going to bring that one up. Antagonist summons a demon to the scene, rolling an appropriate dice pool for the summoning. The antagonist can only summon demons with a template equal to or lower than theirs, or sovereigns. It must spend energy according to the demon's might. 4 for sovereigns. Okay. That's fun. I like that. Do I want this person to be able to summon a sovereign? No. But it should be a possibility that someone can in the Capra Knights. The idea for having the dragon chase is so that having the 4 dragons can defeat a sovereign. And honestly, Honestly, I don't care how my players defeat a boss character. What I do care is what they decide to do after, because I really like the repercussions of stuff. So if they do defeat a sovereign, do they make a pact with the sovereign? Do they make a deal allowing demons into the world? Do they make other deals for other different things? Anyway. We do have a list of how much it costs for summoning a demon. Two for lesser demons, four for solid. I think it should be a possibility to summon a sovereign if you haven't made them a pact with them, but it's like it's the essentially it's you are summoning the worst thing imaginable. Okay, so this is an elite enemy type, I think. I need to double check this because I'm always. So mages and summoners can be okay. They are elites, so they can only summon the smaller demons. Legros are easy to summon compared to the stronger demons. They are feed on strong passions and explode when they are satisfied. So 864. Oh, but it's a fire thing. It doesn't go with the ice motif. Well, that's simple. We will call this Pelegros. As an ice Pelegros, or the name that we will actually be using is Isigros. And this is how we as GMs pull the wool out from under your eyes. No. Is that the word? I don't know. This doesn't have an enhancement. I think it has to have an enhancement of 1, but in any case, it has an integrity of 1, armor of 2, injury of 4, defense of 1, initiative of 4. It does have other abilities like the mage character does. It does have qualities as well. So what I will do here is I will insert a row below, copy and paste this stuff, empty the crap out of this. Oh. Delete rows. Magic-wise, it has Fire and Fury. Art-wise, it has it doesn't have Alter Environment because that's for the elite level. But it does have Elemental Teleportation and Explosive Demise. Oh, these are arts. It does have a lot of special abilities, though, for qualities. It does have a quality for weakness, which is great because that gives us a something to deal with. However, because I am doing this from, I have changed it from a fire entity to an ice entity. Its elemental focus is ice, and its immunity is not fire, it is ice, and its weakness is ice. Or its weakness is fire. We're about running out of time here. I'm not going to fill in all these abilities here for next session, or for next time we do this. My plan for next week is not to do another campaign session, planning session for New Game Plus. It will be to do a little bit of an overview of Trinity Continuum Aether, which has also just come out in the last few weeks. I took a vacation. It was nice, refreshing. But I will be sure to come back to this the week after. I like to do the beginner guide sessions when new products drop from Onyx Path that I'm really interested in, especially Trinity Continuum. In fact, I think I've done one for every Story Path game that has come out. There might have been a couple I've missed. I have a list that I showed to Travis. And I go, hey Travis, I haven't done a beginner's guide for this. Should I do this? And he'll give me a thumbs up. Right? Any case, this is what we have so far. This is the combat. You know what? It is going to be in a town, but I need something to make the environment interesting. So something about the Harvest Festival I will toss in here. So we'll say that there are there's environmental complications that need to be bought off for avoiding Harvest Festival stuff, like an environmental Harvest Festival complication where an attraction causes damage. Causes a distraction that minor. I always like to have a little bit of an environmental impact. I really like the idea of having players being able to push NPCs and antagonists into stuff. It gives the environment a little bit more of a physicality that people can interact with. Something like, for instance, Hall of Mirrors. Minor complication to hit an ally. As well. And then what's something else? Hedge maze, or no, what do they call it? Hay maze. Minor complication on movement. Random range ban. I think these are kind of like just a little bit interesting. Maybe they won't work in play. Maybe I'll forget about them, but there'll be something interesting to throw at my players. Uh, Thank you so much for watching. I am the Awkward GM Corbin. You can find me at the Awkward GM Corbin on YouTube. I will toss that up in here. I just did a bunch of Mythic Shard stuff. If you want to check that out. Reminder, Mythic Shards is still raising funds. It's close. It might even be over. Not over, but like it might be. It's getting close to unlocking a new shard, I think. If I look at the thresholds, we had the additional shard at 35k. There is an additional shard number 2 at 40k, which means we get our second shard, our 7th shard. A story guide reference PDF for Space Odyssey and Space Odyssey shard dice. Dice set are a possibility. So at 42k, we get a series of charts and information to use while running Space Odyssey. So it looks like it's kind of like maybe similar to a GM screen, but like a PDF. And then at the $44,000 range, we get the Space Odyssey themed dice, which I think look pretty good. I want to double check that. I love how the dice look so far. My favorites are the 4-color set look pretty cool. The Cyber Cyan ones are green, glowy. The After the End ones are like desert themed, and the Farewell to Heroes are noir, like black granite type coloring with like red lettering on it. And the Space Odyssey ones have glow in the dark or blacklight capabilities, which is awesome. I think that's it. Also, keep an eye out for Storypath Ultra backer kit coming soon. I don't know when. The Monday meeting notes did not tell us when, but I'm really excited. We will be, if you want to catch us on the video on demand stuff, it'll be on YouTube at some point in the future. Right now, we are going to raid the Old Ways Twitch, I think. I know they are friends. Oh. You know what? I have to open it up in another window. Yeah, the Old Ways, we will raid them. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I have been the Awkward GM. I am still awkward. I still am a GM, and we will catch you next week for Beginner's Guide, Trinity Continuum Aether.